On this episode of America's Podcast, we sit down with Mikaela McLaughlin as we converse about the big world of online marketing and dispensary loyalty programs. We know many dispensaries want to offer their customers incentive to come back to their location, but they don't want to bombard their customers at the same time. Well, listen in because we have a solution for you. SpringBig. Teaser alert. Also, I know we have some dispensary owners that listen to APC. This would be an excellent episode for y'all. Lastly, we talk quite a bit about the ever-changing Florida cannabis market. Since SpringBig is based out of Boca Raton, Florida, you know Ray and I grew up in Florida, so it's a market we love keeping up with specifically. And as always, you can get in contact with us and follow us at America's Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Without further ado, here is the episode. Enjoy.
It's cool to see that the cannabis industry is like so big, but it's like its own world. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's really wild.
Just like you said, the wild, wild west.
Yeah. So could you tell us what SpringBig is?
Yeah, so we are a CRM for dispensaries. So we do loyalty marketing programs and like text message, email communications. But the story on like kind of how we were founded is I think really different. And so before SpringBig started, and this is a little bit more like Colorado because a little bit like older rec program, adult use, there was a couple of our friends that work at SpringBig now. They were going out to Colorado a lot to ski and snowboard.
Okay.
And they would shop at dispensaries while they were there, and they would go for a lot of the time in the winter and work remotely out there. So they would be there for like 3 months at a time, and they would go to dispensaries, and they would realize that there was these tablets where they would check in, and they would earn, let's say, like 25 points for showing up. Mm-hmm. But they were buying ounces at a time, so they wouldn't visit often. They would go and they would see kids buying like a pre-roll every day, and they had a bunch of free product. So they were like, hey, like we're shopping here, like we're good customers, we're not getting any points. So they started seeing if they could like fraud the system while they were there and enter multiple phone numbers so that they could check in more often and get points. So that's kind of how it started, is that they were like, shit, this sucks. Like,
right.
We're not
better.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, one of the kids that was doing this, his father owned one of the largest loyalty marketing companies in the US.
Nice.
They do the loyalty for like Adidas, Reebok, Citibank.
Wow.
And so it just kind of was birthed out of like consumers wanting something better. Mm-hmm. So we developed a loyalty program that awards customers based on how much they spend, not how often they visit.
That's
so
awesome.
You could come once and spend $200 and get 200 points. Come once, spend $7 and get 7 points.
Gotcha.
So it's really cool just from a consumer aspect.
Yeah, I think that's how like Starbucks and stuff does it too. It's
exactly.
Because however much money you spend, then they discount. You know, if you spend $100, then you get $10 off. Or
right,
something.
And actually, that's funny because Starbucks used to do a visits program.
Wow.
And it was costing them too much money to run it that way, so they switched to a points per dollar loyalty program.
Smart.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, if Starbucks can't afford to do a visits-based loyalty program, a dispensary can't.
No.
So
that's a great example.
So you basically, for our listeners, you basically go walk into a dispensary, and then do you automatically like go to that tablet, or is that at the register?
So we eliminated tablets.
Okay.
That was like the visits-based check-in where you would just get awarded points just depending on, or just based on you just showing up.
Right.
So this is actually linked through your dispensary's point of sale. So nothing changes. You go in, you shop as normal, you cash out with your bud tender, and as you're walking out the door, you just get a text message. You just earned 100 points, let's just say at Mikaela's weed store.
Okay.
Click here to view your rewards wallet. Okay. And we send you a link for you to see how many points you have, how many points you need to the next reward. So, hey, like, Ray, if you spend 30 more bucks, the next time you come in, you have a free eighth, right?
Yeah.
Smart.
So making people aware of how many points they have, how many points they need.
And then I want to go back in,
Yeah, it
I want
triggers
to
you.
spend more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really cool from, from both perspective, from consumer and just for the dispensary. It's easier. You're way less susceptible to fraud.
Yeah, definitely.
So since you guys are linked up to the point of sale system, much like iHeart Jane does that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do a lot of these dispensaries have the same point of sale? Like,
There's actually,
I'm just curious.
Yeah, so it's a funny question. So there's quite a few cannabis specific point of sales. Like,
or do they
probably-
play in the general business ones? Probably not.
No, I don't think they can.
It's like everything has to
Yeah.
be cannabis specific.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what's crazy to me.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cannabis.
Like, they can't
point of
use
sales, yeah.
Salesforce or like anything, they can't use any CRM like that, really.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of really big like heavy hitters, and it's weird because certain states need different point of sales if they're vertically integrated. There's some states that have like literally a state mandated point of sale where
Because they do it seed to sale.
yeah, exactly. So everything is
then
reported
also-
to
yeah.
the state, and
Wow.
and everything's changing everywhere all the
confusing.
time. It's so wild.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is
And that's
crazy.
just one small part of like what a dispensary does day to day. Like,
Yeah.
think about the ones that grow seed to sale like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
There's
then
so much
ones
more.
that just like outsource and buy from cultivators and then they just, sell the product. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, you
Wow.
know?
So go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Go.
So I'm curious, when you're a new patient, when do you enter your phone number? Is it just on that sheet that you sign up for the dispensary?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'll put it in their system.
Yeah, so when you give that back to like someone in a dispensary, like the reception area, the front desk, whatever you want to call it, that person takes it and they create a customer profile inside the point of sale. So it's just all linked up. So as soon as you're put in there, every time you check in, it's the same customer profile.
And then if you don't want it, you can probably hit no, I don't want the text.
Yeah, once they text you, it's like just
If you want
reply
it or not.
stop.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's interesting too, because like what we do, that's like we do the loyalty, and then we also do like text communications. And if you obviously are consumers and you put your phone number in, you'll get that dispensary sales and like daily deals to your phone. So that's just mass texting, right? Like everybody that's ever gone there gets that message. So we created a platform to text that was really personal. So like, happy birthday from Mikaela's Weed Store. Can't wait to celebrate with you. Come in for your free birthday pre-roll. And then different interests, allowing us to allowing a dispensary to say to you as a consumer, we know you love to dab.
Yeah, is this based on what you
Smart.
buy
What you
because
buy.
it's logged within
Yeah,
the point of sale?
exactly.
Wow.
Very smart.
And even
Ray be spending even more money. Whew.
yeah.
I already
Yo.
knew.
I literally, my husband said to me once, like he was just like, look, I don't think you realize, Mikaela, that just because something was 50% off, if it used to be $40, you still spent $20. And I'm like, oh shit, I never thought about that.
Sales are addicting. And if you just
Seriously.
give that little incentive, like, hey, $10 off your next eighth if you like buy flour all the time. And like, that
Yeah.
is just boom. And psychologically, that's really smart. Just
Yeah, and it's cool because I really think that as like, again, as someone that's a consumer, like, you don't want to get a text every day about stuff that you don't care about. Like,
correct.
for example, it's like if you're like a hardcore dabber, right? Like, you don't want an offer on a topical,
A pre-roll
Right.
or shake or anything
yeah,
like
like
that.
you, it's so why
It's
would I
annoying.
send that to you? Yeah, it's just annoying. So it's just more about like really getting to know who their consumers are.
Well, and it's cool that you like SpringBig has all of this information too. I feel like all this data is just good in the long run to have, like consumer purchasing data. And
Didn't even think of that. Yep. The dispensary.
Yeah, I
because
mean-
you can be ahead in the future, you're noticing like certain buying patterns,
Yeah, for
or
sure.
For
like
sure.
times a year and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's
It's
so
cool
smart.
because something that I thought was really neat that we noticed multiple dispensaries doing is like allowing their customers to tell them interest, but not just like standard interests like indica, sativa, pre-rolls, shatter, whatever, saying like running. Like, are you a runner?
Hiking. Beach.
Yeah, and really people choose their cannabis based on activities. So a lot of dispensaries ask, like in their inside SpringBig, they want their consumers to tell them things like that. Yeah, like yeah, for like we have a dispensary in Massachusetts. One of their interests is tailgating at Patriots games. You know, like it's
So like
cool.
every Saturday, like hit them with, "Hey, are you ready for your tailgate on Sunday?
Yeah.
Come
Pick
get
up
in.
your
yeah, exactly.
2 for $3 or whatever."
Yeah.
Pre-rolls. Wow, it's so smart. What was the company size when y'all first started, and then what is it now?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
And did you
Sorry, my
start
question.
with
no,
them?
no, that's fine.
Did you start when they?
I did not. So they were up and running for a little while before I came on. I wasn't a part of like the founding team that was there. But I would say it was probably like 4 employees when they started.
Wow.
Now we have 25, which is still a small team for even the amount of growth that we had. So we started off with 5-6 dispensaries. Now we work with 600 dispensaries across the country, and that's in a year and a half.
Damn.
And of those 600 dispensaries, 400 of them came from our competitor that was this tablet-based check-in per visit.
That's crazy that you guys saw a different product and an opportunity to make it better, and then you're just like, "Hey, ours is better," and then everyone's like, "Yep, you're right. Let me do that one."
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're just stealing the whole market.
Yeah.
Hey, you learn a product better and make it better, capitalize on it, which they
Yeah.
did.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's cool too because it really is still just like a tech startup, and it's such a fun place to work. Like we're headquartered in Boca Raton, Florida, and
Which is different for a weed company because they're all usually on the West Coast or Colorado.
Is the founder from there? Like they live there?
yeah.
Boca's got
That's
some money.
so cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So y'all are all across the country.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, California, obviously, like Colorado, we pretty much have like the entire state of Maryland.
Wow.
I have a question that I don't know if you would know the answer to this, but how are they able to get money from dispensaries in other states where there's different laws and different and if they're based in Florida, it's like where was this company started after it was medical? You know what I mean? Like is that an issue or no?
No, it's not because it's
like you can have a software company
like
where it's illegal and just make money everywhere else. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, because we don't touch the plant, so we're not like technically a marijuana company at all. We're not a cannabis company.
Yeah.
So we could operate anywhere.
I know, that's so cool.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean
that's just who you guys sell to.
Yeah, and then it's like money is just kind of like money, right? Like
I mean, do they for real pay in cash?
No.
With stuff, or are they?
Well, we have
sometimes they do.
We have like on location, like we have 2 sales reps, one in like that aren't in our headquarters in Florida, one in Denver, that is like just feet on the street in Colorado, and then
so cool.
A rep in Washington that does like the Pacific Northwest, so like Oregon and Washington. And our rep in Washington does like have certain dispensaries that she goes and gets the cash and then deposits it like into the company's bank account because they won't like get even like a prepaid card, but a lot of places pay with prepaid cards.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Wow.
But a lot of like the accounts that we have, like the CEO will just put it on his personal like credit card, have it billed there, and it's like it's his company, so it's you know.
it's not going anywhere
Yeah.
anytime soon, or he'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's employees that'll put it on like a personal credit card, and the dispensary will like give them
Yeah.
cash to pay them back. Or
But you know what's beautiful about your business is that y'all don't really have any laws or compliance issues. Like, y'all don't have to worry about packaging or any of that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, y'all really don't have any laws
yeah.
per se. So
Yeah. The only law that we do have is texting. So there's
But that's like an advertising type law. Like you can't spam people and solicit them.
no,
Yeah.
there's a it's a cannabis thing, because there's like short code text messages. Like if you get a text message from like Bed Bath and Beyond with a coupon, it'll be a short code, which is like a 5-digit phone number that companies use to mass text.
Right.
But they're federally monitored, so they made them illegal for use in the cannabis space. So we have to use like all long code text messages, like 7-digit phone numbers. And I mean, dispensaries, if a dispensary doesn't know that, they could use a texting company that uses a short code, and it's
And
break
break
the
the
get
law.
in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Why does that 5 to 7 code? Why is that such a big difference? Like,
It's
that seems
because I guess
Because they just monitor it. It's all the
Yeah, the
government
short
monitors
codes.
it.
the short codes are federally monitored. So
Wow.
And cannabis is federally illegal, so
Yeah.
they're not gonna tolerate it. You know what
Wild
I'm saying?
West. Yeah, we're getting there though. We're getting there.
yeah.
So little by little. This is
Yeah,
great.
same.
I'm super glad to learn more. I knew
Yeah.
what SpringBig was, but now I really
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah, and then so like what we did is basically I Heart Jane, they're our e-commerce partners. So the our competitor that was in the space before us, that like they did the loyalty, they did like some texting, and they had an e-commerce like component to their business. So
Okay.
we knew that if we were gonna play, we needed e-commerce. And our CEO, who's obviously a genius, was just like, well, we're not going to build one because that's not our specialty. Let's just find the absolute best menu and partner with them, and not spread ourselves too thin.
And I guarantee you that's just creating so much good synergy too, because the
Yeah.
I Heart Jane
It's
great
great.
people, so they're
Yeah.
probably like, this is so awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's they're such an awesome organization. I mean, I've literally like enjoyed I just have check-in calls with them and stuff, and they're everybody I talk to.
Well, and what's crazy
That's so
is
cool.
Austin and I, and he was saying this and reminding me of it, like how surreal it is because Austin and I met Ben with I Heart Jane.
Oh yeah,
Like
a long time ago.
right when they launched, like they were brand
cool.
new, and he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
at a dispensary in San Jose and Hayes. He had like joint papers and like little flyers.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, this is what we do. We hook up to point of sale. If you want to find Blue Dream, type it in. Boom. Now you're at Hayes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. Like, didn't know too much. And
Yeah.
now it's like they're being written about by Forbes, and
Yeah.
they're huge, and they're in different countries and states. And
Yeah.
it's like fascinating to see that
The
they've
growth.
done all this like
Yeah.
that fast.
Yeah. Their growth has been
Yeah.
massive. It's so
Well, I
cool.
mean, they're developers, the guys that started it. I mean, they're tech guys out of MIT. Like
course.
they're geniuses. And I work with one of their biz dev guys that's up in Boston, and he's always like, I'm the dumbest guy on the team. He's like, but I love it because I learned so much,
Yeah.
you know?
You don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I met Howard, which he's the CFO,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I was talking
Yeah.
to for a little bit, so never met him, but can't wait to talk to Sock. Have you talked to Sock before?
I haven't. So
Okay.
when I deal with Jane, I just deal with them more on like a partnership,
Yeah,
you know,
for
kind of
sure.
level. So I deal with their biz dev guys. So I usually deal with Howard.
Nice.
There's the guy Tim up in Boston.
Okay, yeah.
I deal with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Is there anybody that you're excited to work with, or anybody that you like are trying to, or different any states or?
Yeah. So we got a deal done with Herbal Cruise while we were here, so that was
Awesome.
really cool. And then Purple Lotus just came on with us. They are
That's a big one.
yeah. They're
A lot of people go there.
Yeah.
I do too.
they have a really
Wide variety too.
Yeah,
They have
yeah,
a
they have
lot
a
of
lot.
selection.
and they're I think the way that dispensary is set up, like the line, and they just kind of, she was telling me today that they kind of like redid how they did their like check-in and their line, and it's really efficient. And I saw that compared to some other places that I had visited while I was here, and it seemed like a process that would be quicker. Yeah.
I mean, I will say I feel like they don't have as much of a selection after the regulations and all the issues with testing, and there's too many things that need to be tested to be able to get out. And
Stage 2 compliance.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, well, there's stage 3 coming up in December that we heard. So
it was like before July 1st, they had all these sales because they had to get rid of it all. And it's like they had the best everything on sale. And then you go back and they have like random brands I had never heard of really, but that are like super expensive.
But these are the brands that have, they were smart. They thought ahead for sure. But the thing is, all the sales that they were having before the stage 2 thing was all untested weed and stuff like that. Now, obviously, from Florida, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it wasn't necessarily untested. It was that they changed the different testing. Like, I'm sure they just upped the panel to now they're testing for 67 pesticides instead of 23 or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Which, that's what...
So it's not that it was, like, not tested, but it wasn't as clean now that
the standard was a lot lower.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Which... Mike was saying that. Mike View. Yeah, stage 1, obviously, but stage 3 is coming up in December. So,
I'm excited for Florida though too, because like, don't they vote on some more stuff coming up or no?
What's going on in Florida? Yeah, tell us, girl.
Florida.
At least it's getting there.
I know. Yeah,
but
it is.
It's just fucking screwy the way they're doing it. Like, oh man, they're shooting themselves in the foot. But
they really are.
It's harder probably to make the laws and then loosen them as opposed to have them loose and tighten them. Like you have to undo all that.
Very true. But they're still going at a funky way. But tell us what's going on in Florida.
So dispensaries are open.
Do you know how many around ish in the state that you know of?
I would say, there's a good amount, but it's a big state. So there's maybe like 100 throughout the state, but I mean, there's like 100 in San Jose. So that's like,
that seems like a lot though to me. Like, coming from Florida, like, wow.
Yeah. And that could be totally off. So I'm not 100% sure. But it's strange because like the closest dispensary to my house is probably still like 15 miles away, and so it's like per capita it's not a lot.
Convenient.
Yeah, it's really not. And to me it's like that's not patient centric. You know,
do they have deliveries yet?
I think they do.
Or like the dispensary will deliver.
Yep, they do. And
it's getting somewhere though, because I mean dispensaries can't pop up on every corner like they are here yet because there's so many laws. Like people,
right?
And the thing is, I heard about Florida is that you can't just own a dispensary. Like you have to get the growing license, like all the other licenses,
exactly,
like all in one. You can't just have one of them.
Yep.
And like you have to be like in business previously for like 15 years or some crazy stuff. Like,
which like I don't get that in this, but it's like, how have you been in business for 15 years if it was just legal like last year? Like what does that even mean?
And then that cuts all the people in Florida out because then they're just gonna be other dispensaries like big names from
and
that's all it is in Florida.
Yeah,
it's
you're cutting
just
the small
big
guys
names.
out.
You can't. Which I hate that because I feel like
they already get their hand in the pot. Like, let some of our state have it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like cannabis has been so great in other states where minorities, women, have really been able to thrive in cannabis. And Florida just did not make that possible, which sucks because there's probably a lot of people that would have been able to profit in some way from that. And so, I mean, maybe in the future that could change as the laws do loosen. Yeah, of course they are.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, it's only...
Probably just want all the tax money, and they're still trying to just figure it all out.
Yeah. If you only can let the big guys in and not even let the smaller people compete. Like I'm talking like the small business owners, because it's only these big ass large corporations that are coming in, because these are the only people that can front $50 million to get all this licensing, all the property, all that kind of stuff. No small business owner can do that. There's no way. So they're not making it easy for these guys at all. And it's like, where do you start?
Yeah. I mean, they don't really care.
You have to like, but you have to like join their team. Like you have to go and get on with these big companies to start, which is messed up. You're really just cutting out the small and middle class. It sucks. So
we'll see.
Yeah. And like you said, minorities and women, it's not, these big corporations aren't looking for that. They don't care about that. They care about the money.
Yeah.
They care about getting their name in the door. They don't care about the small stuff.
I like to think, though, in cannabis, people are a little bit more people focused, though.
But if it's these
like
big
it's not
companies,
as cutthroat.
Yeah, and I see that, though. I do. With what I see from even like the really large scale like dispensaries, there is a care for patients and like really who they are and why they got into the space. Like, yes, they are big corporations, and don't get me wrong, I mean, at the end of the day, it is money, but I think behind a lot of them you hear a story of why they took their money to this industry.
Well, and I would rather it be like at least cannabis related than some of the other big tech companies, like, you know, you probably hear, I forget who it was, like Dell or HP or whoever, trying to buy into different software companies that track the seed to sale, and it's like they're already making billions of dollars. Let somebody like
small,
newer play in it that specializes in that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, try to look at it in a positive way, but I feel like there's still so much more we have to do.
Well, if the laws would allow us, the smaller people, to get in there, then we wouldn't have people like IBM trying to do this stuff. So, but hey, we're getting there little by little. So, I mean, look, 3 years ago, Florida wasn't even considered to be on the ballot for medical. So, and Morgan, they're killing that by trying to lead the advocacy. So
and I think Florida needs, the people in Florida need it a lot more than anyone's willing to admit, because we have in South Florida, where I live, I mean, the opiate epidemic is ridiculous. In my town, I look at our like police, like they have like a little thing from like the day before of like everything that happened, and every single day there's at least 5 overdoses in my town, and 2 of them are usually fatal. Every single day.
The leading like cause of death for like age 20 to 30 or something is drug overdose.
Wow.
And now that's how big the problem has become. Like it's addiction. It's bad. You can't. You have to supplement it with something.
And I really, really think that cannabis could be game changing for that problem in Florida if the lawmakers would just let the people decide and let doctors decide what's best for patients. Like, doctors can't even say that that flower would be good for a patient in Florida.
They
Which
can't.
is wild.
Yeah.
But my theory is we have these big pharmaceutical companies behind the lawmakers saying, don't freaking pass this law because we're making $5 billion off of this product just in Florida. Like, so they're just feeding into their pockets. But hey, what do I know? So,
I love how you keep going, but hey. But hey.
I'm trying to cover my ass a little bit. But hey, I'm out here.
But hey.
So, hey, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep saying but.
No, it's
now you got it on my mind.
I hate when somebody points something like that out to me, and then you just can't stop hearing it.
Right. Heck yeah. What did you like most about San Jose? Or the convention or whatever? Anything stuck out to you?
Yeah, you probably spend a lot of time like in the convention center
at
your hotel.
Because my hotel was attached to the convention center.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Have you rode any of the scooters? The Lime or the Bird scooter?
Okay.
If you haven't, you need to.
Scared.
No, try it.
No, I'm so intimidated.
It's
and then
fun.
Today I like worked up my courage to do it, and there was one right outside of my hotel, and so I like scanned the QR code, and it's like, sorry, this is up for maintenance. And I was like,
of course, the one time.
and then I was like, all right, well,
Sometimes
it just wasn't meant to be.
You should try.
It's fun.
My mom came and visited, and she was like terrified. She's like, I cannot do that, Rachel. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, just do it one time. And she loved it. She was like, it's so easy and fun. And we were going all around. We were on them for like 45 minutes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. No.
If you can, try it.
I'm so petrified of that.
They're going to be like the next big thing, like money-wise, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I had seen them, and we had seen people riding them, and my coworker and I, like, from Florida, were like, what the fuck are these people, like, doing
Right.
this?
Yeah, when you were like 4 years old? Like,
Yeah.
You're so nerdy.
So then we just kept seeing them. And I met a friend for drinks that I know from Florida that works here in San Jose now. And I was like, by the way, like, what the fuck is up with those scooters? And then when she explained them, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool that you can just get off wherever you want. And you don't have to, like, have a certain place to put them.
So smart.
And, like, you just can get around so fast on that.
Yeah.
Like, I think of big cities like New York, Chicago, Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, that is revolutionary in the business world to be able to zip from here to there.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting in an Uber or in traffic or walking. It's like...
Yeah.
It's like a casual hustle. Like, you're literally on a scooter
Yeah.
in your suit. And you're like, here, home to your next meeting
Yeah.
in like 2 minutes instead of 20.
Oh, man. But the only downside I see is, like,
Danger.
it's dangerous
I know.
because you can either ride on the sidewalk, which you have to
You
zoom through
can't.
pedestrians.
You
You're
can't ride it.
You're
Yeah.
not supposed to.
Yeah.
But when you do legally ride it on the street,
Bike
it's
lane.
dangerous because people can't see you.
Yeah.
Even if you're on a little white and green scooter, like, you're very small.
Yeah.
People aren't looking for you on the side. They're looking for
Yeah.
a big-ass car right in front of them.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
That's,
And nowadays we're doing a zillion other things.
right. And,
Yeah.
Window,
91
radio, people in the car, phone, whatever.
phone.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their phone. So, geez, I mean, another thing to look for. So
Yeah.
They're
it's-
fun though. And
They are a lot of fun. But yeah, be careful. So
Yeah.
Austin and I were riding around at San Jose State.
yeah, we were racing. Dang, I don't know if you know where all the palm trees are, but there's like
She probably saw him.
maybe
The ring of palm trees.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's like 50 palm trees right there. We were like racing around that, me and Ray.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
sick. And her siblings were here too, so we're mobbing out. We had like
It
6
was
scooters.
so fun.
Yeah.
We're like a line of like 6 people. It was like 60 yards deep of us just rolling through these neighborhoods on these
Oh
scooters.
my gosh.
It was great. It was a good time.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if Florida gets any of that type of stuff. I could see him doing like
I could
the
see him doing
bikes
it in Miami.
because they have like the ones we saw in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Andy was telling me in Arizona the bikes are a big thing.
It's same thing, but it's electric bike,
Yep.
and you scan
Oh,
the
it's an
code like
electric
that.
bike?
Yeah.
But
Oh, those are sick.
he was saying that Arizona was like now like trashed with them. They're like everywhere and like in people's yards and stuff like that. So
I saw one on First, like in downtown, that like the whole like board was smashed in half, and I was just like,
oh Lord.
I wonder though because
how
I
do they
think
know who does it?
Right. There's
they
no cameras.
don't,
Yeah.
but
no.
I think that they make enough money that they can kind of assume that some
That's
are
gonna
gonna
happen.
get
Yeah.
busted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easily.
But they're probably still figuring it out. That's what's cool about San Jose is we get to try stuff like this
Yeah,
early.
that's so true.
Yeah.
Like it could be a flop in a year. Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, they have them in DC. I saw on the ad. They have them in like DC, and then like San Jose, like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Well, they're banned in San Francisco right now.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Because it's too
Oh,
crazy. And there's
traffic.
hills and stuff too. Like that
Yeah.
eats the battery.
It's wild up
People
there.
have been
That stuff is wild.
leaving them like everywhere in the streets there. And it's like more of like a New York City, like very
Yeah,
tight
that's
city.
true.
Yeah.
Well, I was even thinking like Chicago or New York. Like that's probably not that practical because what do you do with them in the winter?
True.
You know?
Yeah.
Like-
People skirting away on them like
Yeah.
through the snow. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sled racing on a scooter. You're like flying.
That'd be
You
hilarious.
can't break.
No, I think like in smaller cities, because you brought up
Yeah.
that point. I think SF, it's just too much going on, and there's too much elevation. But like, if you had it at beaches in Florida, like Jack's Beach, for instance, or Fort Lauderdale, or like these condensed, but like, as long as you don't ride them in the dang sand, it'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Has to
So
be like
Yeah.
5 mile like area that people are really
Yeah.
heavy
yeah,
traffic.
but I could totally see that taking off there
Yeah.
for sure. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.